Hello everyone. How you guys doing? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Where are my people? Good afternoon, and how was your day? I I'm still the only person here today. I guess it's becoming a norm now. Nigerians and African time. So where are you guys? You guys should start coming in. Start coming in. Start coming in. Okay. Before we start, I just got a new mic. So where is everyone? We will be talking about critical thinking today. Where are you people? Wherever you are, can you please comment your name, your location, or put your name and your location in the comment section? Okay, put your name, put your location in the comment section while we wait for the others to jump right in and join us. Wherever you are, let's know. Tajumade said, "I made it. You are welcome. You are welcome." Gladys is also here. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, 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 thank you. So let's know where you are commenting from. Put your name, put your location. Let me know those that are live with me. Let me know those that are live with me. All right. Wow. Okay. Tajumade Ola Renri said, "My name is Tajumade Ola Renri. I'm at Owo, Ondo State. Thank you for joining in, Tajumade. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining in. Who else? Yeah, my favorite guy, Mario. What part of Lagos are you, Mario? Let's know where you are. Not just say Las Gidi. What part of Lagos are you? Thank you for joining in. Thank you. Uh, thank you guys for being a part of this show. How was your week, everyone? How has been the week so far? It's surprising that like we've had three rains so far this year. I don't know. I don't want to be superstitious and say that like this year is going to be a great year. Yes, I believe that like this year is going to be a great year, and I also believe that like you need to prepare for that great year. Like things just don't happen randomly. Do you understand? Okay, so who else is there? Let's know where you're chatting from. Uh, okay, Hijabu man in the house, Mr. Nola Oshiemi. Guy, just say you're in the US now. We know you're in the US. Tell us you're in the US. Don't say you're, what's it called? All right. Gladys from Oyo Town. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Who else is in the building? Who else is in the building? Nobody else. All right. So today's topic that we would be treating is drum rolls, critical thinking. Critical thinking. That is our topic for today. That is our topic for today, critical thinking. All right. Now, a lot of the times, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my notes out so that like I don't forget what I'm supposed to teach today. Okay. All right. So one thing we know about children, right, is the fact that like a lot of them ask questions a lot. A lot of children are creative. A lot of children are free. Like they haven't been told yet how to react to life, how to behave in public. Like they can see an elderly person and they will just walk up to the person and be like, "Why is your shoe like this?" Children ask questions a lot, but unfortunately, as we grow older, like the society will now try to shape in us. Our family will try to shape in us. Our religion will try to tell us how to act, and along the line, we tend to lose our core personality. We tend to lose person. We tend to like conform to what the world wants, and on the long run we become less critical thinkers. We become less creative people. A study shows that like the older we get, the less creative and critical thinkers we are, and it is such a shame because the best or the people that go out to the great things in this world are critical thinkers. They are people that like they take out time to think about every single thing happening around them. Okay, they take out time to like ponder on things that like, okay, why is this thing like this? Why is that thing like this? Why is this thing not yielding this much? Or why is it done in this way? Can we do it in a better way? Do you get like those are the people that like actually go on to do great things in our society. And today we'll be looking at the topic critical thinking and how we also can have the attributes of being a critical thinker. How we also can have the attributes of being a critical thinker. Okay, we don't have any other new person in the house. All right, so I'm going to be reading a definition of critical thinking according to according to the U.S. National Council for Excellence in Critical Thinking. I never knew that like there was actually a body like this, but hey, while doing my research, I found out that like there's actually a body like that. So I'll be reading their own definition of what critical thinking is. Now, I will not be putting it on the screen because my text has a limitation to how many I can actually put on the screen. So I'll be reading it out to you guys. So please bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. So they said that like critical thinking is, or they defined it as, the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. Oh, more this thing plenty, man. This thing plenty. Now me, they asked me for exam. They say, "Guy, define critical thinking." Yeah. Fun. I beg. Anyway, please don't mind me. All right, so I'm gonna take the definition again. I said that like the definition of critical thinking, or they define it as intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. Come on, man. Wala for uno sabi read English. Anywho. Critical thinking, as I said earlier, is a wonderful thing that like each and every one of us need to do, because great people who are critical thinkers go on to do greater exploits. If you take out time to think critically, right, you would see that like you can make your life better, because you would be able to like dissect everything happening around you, either in your home, in the lives of your children, in the lives of your spouse, in your environment, in your workplace, in your business, even when it comes to your spiritual growth or your health, you'll be able to like see things in a better way, and then you can then go on to materialize what you have, or the results or answers you've gotten from having to think critically. All right, then. So now we would be looking at the 7 characteristics of critical thinkers. If you want to be a critical thinker, there are so many characteristics, but I'm only treating 7 for today. Okay. We have deep thinking. Who is? Hello, Mola Joye. Is this your first time being with us? I've not seen you before. But thank you for being a part of this show. All right, so I was saying that like we are going to be treating the 7 characteristics of critical thinkers. So now, if by the time I start mentioning each of them, if you feel that like it's something that like you lack, you can take out time to imbibe these characteristics to yourself to be a better critical thinker. All right. Number 1 on the list. Look, I sound like my voiceover me. Number 1 on the list. Okay, so number 1 on the list is observation. Number 1 on the list is observation. Now, if you're going to be a critical thinker, you need to observe every single thing around you. You need to take note of every single thing. Like, have you ever gone, let's say you're about to leave your house in the morning and then you get back home, say in the afternoon or in the evening, and then the next thing you realize that something is missing. I put this thing here, but that thing was no longer there. Now, that is what we call observation. You observe every single thing in your environment such that if anything changes, once you enter that same environment, you notice that this thing was not here before, or this thing was not placed here before. It could be in your business if you've been earning a particular amount, right? And then all of a sudden you realize that on this particular day you made less or you made more. You observe it. Why did we make more? Maybe usually like your take home profit for the day is 5,000 naira, and then all of a sudden you realize that like we made 8,000 naira today. As a critical thinker, you would observe it and you ask yourself, wow, we made 8,000 as opposed to 5,000. Then you might probably ask, okay, no, no, let me not get there. Yes. You observing is like, okay, there's a shift. Okay, that's you observing a change in whatever it is that is happening around you. Okay. Or it's not just like observing a change, but just noticing every single thing, paying attention to details. That's observation. Yeah, I think that's what I'm meant to say. Paying attention to details of every single thing happening around you. All right, great. Okay, so we move on to number 2, which is curiosity. Our number 2 characteristics of a critical thinker is curiosity. It means that like you have to be curious about every single thing about you, around you, within you. You ask yourself, why is this thing like this? Why am I like this? Why is it that like I don't earn this amount of money? Why is my child behaving this way? Why is this happening this way? You need to keep asking questions. You need to be curious about every single thing. After you have observed, then be curious, ask questions. If you have to be a critical thinker, you must be someone that asks a lot and tons of questions. You do not just see things and then like you just feel, that is how it has always been. Why don't you ask yourself, why is this thing like this? Why? A lot of us, okay, I think having gone through the higher institution in Nigeria, we have grown with that mindset that like, guy, it is just la cram, la pour, la pass. It means that like you no longer, or they don't make you ask questions because they will tell you that like, see, this is how it is. This is how I want it in the exam hall. You cannot ask them that like, why is this thing this way? Because a lot, okay, no, I'm not trying to like belittle most lecturers. No, I am not. But I want to believe that like a lot of the time, these same lecturers make you feel that there's no need for you to ask questions. Just do it the way we have set it for you. And that is why the Nigerian system is bringing out zombies, people that do not think, people that just come out and it is just what they crammed, that they poured in the exam hall, and it had no benefit to them. As a critical thinker, you should be one who does what? Who asks a lot of questions. Hello, Rosie Nkechi. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Malaji, yes, you said that like you are a Futerian and oh, Lasikoya, great Lasikoya. I went to Lagos City College, Yaba. That's the secondary school I went to. This dude over here was probably one of the people that like went to the same secondary school together. Okay, once we are done, I'm going to like check your profile on Facebook. All right, so I was saying number 2, curiosity. All right, that's number 2 on the list. You need to be curious. You have to be curious as children are. You need to be curious. Okay, I'm trying to like remember. Curiosity forces you to keep an open mind and propels you to gain deeper knowledge. So the more you ask why, the more you find out information. You do not just take it because they told you that like, okay, this is a phone. You ask yourself, why is it a phone? What function can it do? What more can it do beyond me texting, beyond me making phone calls? What else can I do with the phone? Now, the more you go deeper, the more knowledge you get or you gain as a person. Okay. So number 2 on the list is curiosity. Okay. Number three. Number 3 on the list is objectivity. As a critical thinker, you need to be as objective as possible. You need to be objective as possible. Now, I have noticed this thing about people. Once someone is arguing a point with you, right? Instead of going with the facts, you go with emotions. You become emotional over it. Now, that kind of thing can affect your judgment on the long run. If you're going to be a critical thinker, you need to like separate emotion from facts. You need to. You cannot just say that like because this thing is dear to my heart, or because I have a vested interest in this thing. Because of that, I need to let emotion come to play. No, 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 no. No. As a critical thinker, you need to be as objective as possible. Now, you need to be willing to face reality, even if it is not what's the word now? Even if it is not something that sits well with you. Yeah, that's what I was trying to look for. Even if it's not something that sits well with you, you need to be someone who looks at life and be like, okay, fine. I have been taught this while growing up. However, I am in a new place, and they say that what I have been taught is not the right way. So before I discard the information given to me, can I see the facts that these people have presented? Is the facts valid, or are the facts valid rather? Are the facts valid? Once you look at these things and then you look at it critically, then you can now say, okay, this thing is the truth, or based on the facts given to me, this thing is not what it is because it is not true. All right. Do we understand? Okay. So that is the number 3 on my list is objectivity. Work with the facts and not emotions in judging a matter. And another thing I would want to say is this, especially when you are in a top position in life, or probably like, let's say you're the father of the house, and because they know, or probably like people want to please you, sometimes people will tell you what you want to hear rather than telling you the truth. If you get to a position now, let's say you're the president of Nigeria, there are so many people that will come to you and tell you that like, Nigerians, no, 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 all is well. Everybody is enjoying. Everybody is this. Everybody is that. And if you're not careful, you will tend to follow what people say. Do you understand? You will tend to follow the lies people are giving to you, and because your ego is at play here, you tend to like believe it and disregarding the truth, the facts on ground. So always work with what? Always work with facts. All right? Always work with facts. I don't know. I said Lai Mohammed. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. Before they come and what's the word now? Arrest me. All right. So we have another person on the line. Adams Folorunshaw Shaw from Lagos. Thank you for joining in. That's my brother from another mother. Thank you for joining. So, let me quickly do a recap. I said number 1 is observation. You observe everything around you. Number 2 is curiosity. You keep asking why. Why is this way? Why are things done this way? Why is the situation of this country like this? You keep asking questions just to get answers. The more you ask questions, the more you do what you get answers, and the more your knowledge is broadened. Okay. And number 3, objectivity. I said that like work with facts and not put your emotions into it. Whatever it is that like you're going through, get facts. Don't just put sentiment. Do not put emotion, because those things would always cloud your judgment. All right. And number 4 on the list is, who can guess number 4? Anybody that can guess number 4 will gets something, will get a gift from me. Can anybody just guess what my number 4 is going to be? Let's see. Let's see those people that they are in the spirits. Anybody able to guess number 4? Anybody? While we are waiting, Rosie says she's from Asaba. Rosie, thank you for joining in. All the way from Asaba, Delta State. All right, so anybody can guess what my number 4 is? Anybody? Can you guess? Really? Nah. Mr. Nola, it is not money. Number 4 is not money. It's definitely not money. All right. So, number 4 on the list, characteristics of a critical thinker. Number 4 on the list is introspection. Big grammar. This grammar, big, my people. Introspection. When I saw it, I was like, okay, what is introspection? So, introspection happens to be the art of being aware of your thinking. Have you ever thought about what you are thinking of? Like you're thinking and then you're thinking of what you're thinking of. That's basically what introspection is. Or to put it in another way, it is thinking about what you're thinking about. Like per time, everything you're thinking about like, okay, is this thing that I'm thinking about, is it worth thinking about? Do you get? Like you're asking yourself, as you're thinking about that particular thing, like you look at it like, okay, is it necessary? Is this important? You're thinking about what you're thinking about. If we remember this quote by Lao Tzu, it says, "What your thoughts that become your words." I'm sorry. What your thoughts that become your words. What your words that become your actions. What your actions that become your habits. What your habits that become your character. What your character, it becomes your destiny. So on the long run, everything you do starts with what? What you're thinking about. So you need to consciously know or consciously observe, rather, you need to consciously observe what you are thinking about per time. You do not just think of random things that have no value or have no way of making you better. You need to be very, very conscious of what you think about. Yes, we are talking about critical thinking, but you also need to know exactly what you're thinking about, because you cannot just be thinking about an irrelevant information and then feel that, like, yes, I am a critical thinker. Yes, you may probably be thinking critically, but would it add value to you on the long run? If it is a no, then please stop thinking about it. Press the pause button. It's what to do when you're reading the Bible. I'm sure you've seen that part that says Selah. Selah means pause and think. So you think about what you're thinking about. That is what our number 4. You think about what you are thinking about. All right. So number 5 on my list is, okay, I actually combined these two together. All right. Because there are two forms of thinking, as it were. And they are number 5 on the list: analytical and creative thinking. Analytical and creative thinking. Okay, so what is analytical thinking? What is critical thinking? So let's say you have observed things around you. Let's say you have asked questions. You have written down everything you have observed. You have collated all the questions, all the answers you got from what? From the questions you asked. Then what do? You begin to analyze it. Okay? You break everything down into simple components based on all the information that like you've gathered, right? You've asked questions, all the information you got, like you now bring them together. Then you now break them down to the most basic form you can actually bring them to. Okay? Big question, you got an answer. Break it down into little pieces and analyze each and every one of them. You analyze each and every one of them. Okay? Now, After you have analyzed it and like, okay, you've gotten all the information that like you need, you have analyzed it, then what can you do after ana- um, you've done an analytical thinking, right? Then you become creative. Be creative in your thoughts. All right. So now, based on X, Y, Z, or based on this information that I have found out, right? How can I go about this, right? Or how can I do it in a new way? Looking for another angle. That is you being creative. That is you thinking outside the box. They told you that, like, okay, this is how we do things in our town. You ask them, why is that so? Right? Okay, let's take to the period of when they used to kill twins, right? I don't even know the reason why they killed twins in the past in Africa or in Nigeria, but someone started it, and it was a trend in a particular culture in the South region. But it took one person to come around to say that, like, okay, why do you people do this thing? And then they probably told the person, okay, this is the reason, because the gods feel that, like, these people, once they come, yeah, 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 and all those kind of things. And then the person will probably ask, okay, why don't we do it this way? And then I'm sure after they did it, maybe like she experimented with them. I'm just guessing. The lady experimented with them, and she was like, okay, we're going to keep two twins this time around, right? We're not going to kill them. We're going to keep two twins. Okay. Now let us watch what happens. If the gods are right, then we kill them. But if the gods are wrong, why do we have to kill them? And maybe, just maybe, her method worked. And then everybody stopped killing twins. That is being creative. Now, you have seen how things are done, or you have broken it down. Now you come from another angle and ask yourself, can we make it better? Is there any way we can enhance the same thing that we have, that is in this same information that we have? Can we make it any better? I was watching a documentary about Elon Musk earlier today, and okay, we all know that, like, Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world right now. I think he's worth about $190 billion. Elon Musk, Twale, Baba, beg, yeah. Your boy is loyal, low. Just give me 1 billion. 1 billion. I know ask for too much, $1 billion. Stephanie. Anyway, so as I was saying, I was watching a documentary about Elon Musk, right? And when he started his space company, one of the things he did was to break down the process in which rockets are made. He broke down individual components. Okay, this is how they make this one. This is how they make that one. Now, aside from that, like, he has to like surround himself with like gurus. He read a lot, and then he surrounded himself with people that are also vast in that field. Now, he asked a lot of questions. He was curious. Okay, why is this thing this way? Why is that thing that way? And then he began to read. In reading, he was able to break down individual parts in making a rocket, right? And then he asked himself, okay, rather than buying this part from this country, we buy that part from that company, we buy another part from another company. How about we look for ways of getting the raw materials and then look for how to make those same things and make it ourselves? And that is one of the ways this dude has actually saved a lot of money. It took or it can only take a critical thinker to first and foremost break down the process of how rockets are being made. And believe me, this guy did not study what's it called, aeronautics in school. Elon Musk studied computer and economics. Yes, I think those were the two degrees that he had. Now, for someone that was not from that field, coming to that field, asking questions, doing a lot of research, then breaking every single process down, and then looking for creative ways in which, rather than for us to buy this thing, or let's say you're into business now, you can ask yourself, okay, fine. Rather than for me to buy this thing from a wholesaler, is there any way I can get in contact with who? The manufacturer. Now that's critical thinking. You have broken it down. Okay, fine. I buy this thing from a distributor. This distributor is getting it from somebody else. Is there any way I can get to that person. Maybe, just maybe, if you get to that manufacturing level and like you see the process and you're like, okay, I have enough money. How about I start this thing? How about I find ways of producing myself and becoming a manufacturer? Especially if you see that like that niche, that area of that business is not saturated. You can ask yourself that like, how about I do this thing myself? Now you're being analytical, you're being creative, and on the long run, it will pay off. All right. Are we still together? Are we still together? Are we still together? All right, so that is number 5 on my list. Moving on to number 6. I'm trying to like check my notes. Moving on to number 6, number 6, number 6, number 6, number 6, number 6. Number 6, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call inference. Inference. Inference is number 6. I'm trying to like check my notes. All right, now, based on all the information you have gathered, right? Based on all the information that like you have put together, you've asked questions, you've been objective, you did not put emotions into it. You've thought about what you're thinking about. You've been analytical. You've been creative. Now this time around, inference as a characteristics of what of being a critical thinker means that like you're drawing conclusion based on all the information you have gathered, everything that you have done so far, right? You've put them together, and then you ask yourself, okay, what is the conclusion of this thing, right? Now, I need to say something at this point in time that like there's a difference between inference, drawing conclusion, and assumption. Okay, there's a difference between drawing conclusion and assumption. A lot of the time, people assume a lot of things without critically thinking. All right. And then they now come to a conclusion based on that assumption. Now, that is not an attribute of who? A critical thinker. Now, you and I are trying to get to that level that like we are going to become who? A critical thinker. All right. Now, a lot of people assume a lot of things. They've not gotten the facts, but just because they just want to assume, and then they can argue that thing tooth and nail. I'm sure that like a lot of us know somebody like that in our lives. Like they don't know this thing, they have no idea what it is about, but because they just want to assume, they just want to argue that point. They just want to feel as if I know this thing. They begin to argue unnecessarily. A lot of us have met one or two people in our lives, and sometimes like maybe just maybe like some of us have actually even been in that shoe. That is not the way to go as a critical thinker. You need to go through all the processes and what's the word? Draw out a conclusion based on the research you have made, the questions you've asked, the knowledge you have gained, and then you now draw out what a conclusion. Another example is let's say for instance you begin to have headache and then you are feverish. A typical Nigerian will say, I have what? Malaria. That is what a typical Nigerian would say. Hey, we have Daddy Doing Talabi. Thank you, sir, for being a part of this. It's an honor to have you here. All right, it's an honor, sir. All right, so I was saying that like a lot of us, most times, like let's say we are feverish and then like we have headache. The next thing we conclude or we assume is that I have what? I have malaria. Now, you have not conducted any tests. You have not seen a doctor. You have not done any checkup whatsoever. And the next thing you start taking what? Malaria tablets, paracetamol, and the likes. Now, that is you assuming without you finding out if truly everything you're trying to do or everything without trying to like find, sorry, I got caught up in what I was trying to say. I'm sorry. All right. So as you're just assuming that like, okay, it is malaria without doing the tests, without going through the process of being a critical thinker. Why am I like this? Do I need to take a test if I would feel better? A lot of people in Nigeria have actually died because of assumption. They didn't take the time to find out why this thing is happening this way, because the same symptom for one can also be for another. It could be typhoid, it could be a lot of things. So if you're not treating one thing and then you're not getting better, Nigerian system, once they've taken the malaria drug and like it doesn't work, what do they go to next? Agbo. They start going through the whole drinking orishi. On the long run, you're affecting your liver, you're affecting your health. And it is because you assumed that once you're feverish, it has to be what? Malaria. It has to be what? Typhoid, without doing proper checkup. All right. So, as I was saying, inference is drawing conclusion based on all the information you have gathered. As a critical thinker, after getting all your information, you draw out what? A conclusion. You draw out a conclusion. And then lastly on the list is problem solving. As a critical thinker, you have to be what? A problem solver. Now, you do not just solve a problem without having gone through all the steps that we've actually mentioned. All right. After you've drawn your conclusion, you have to ask yourself, how can I correct this thing? Or how can I make this thing better? Or is there any better way we can do this thing to yield more results? Okay. If you have a stubborn child that is probably like that keeps saying that like, okay, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. Now, if you know that like this child was never like this, you've observed the child. Okay, this is not how this child has always been, right? And then all of a sudden, the child is scared to go to school, and you ask questions. Why? Why don't you want to go to school? And if the child gives you reasons, and then you yourself try to find out, are these reasons legitimate, right? Let's say, for instance, the child says that, like, okay, there is a teacher that beats me in school. Yes, you may actually have been beaten because you were stubborn in school. However, if a teacher is beating that child for no just cause and inflicting pain on the body of the child, then you draw a conclusion and tell yourself that, like, no, this thing this teacher is doing has to be stopped. Then you find a solution by going to the school, talking to the proprietress or the proprietor or the principal and saying that, like, my child has been molested by XYZ teacher. I need you to put a stop to this, or else I will take the matter up with the law. Right? And that is you trying to solve the problem of your child. All right. As a critical thinker, you have to like solve the problem. Now, if it's something like you feel that you cannot do yourself, then you can either get the service of a professional to help you out with that particular solution that you need, and you observe how that person does it. Okay, you observe how the person does it, and then ask questions also, such that in the case of another time, you wouldn't have to like go through that long process. You would be able to shorten it. Fine, even if you start off based on what the person has done and then like you're stuck, you wouldn't like be troubling the person to do everything from the beginning. At least the person will know that like you've taken effort to do something tangible before he or she steps in. All right. Now that is the number 7 part of on my list. You have to be what? A critical. So you have to be a problem solver as a critical thinker. That is another point. There are tons of other points or other characteristics of being a critical thinker. One of them is you have to be an active listener. A critical thinker would not just say his mind and then like not willing to listen to other people. A critical thinker would pay attention to details, pay attention to what people are saying. Because even if you have an idea about something, still listen to the person. Even if the person is saying a foolish thing, still listen to it, get the facts, and you can now use that fact to show the person that like what you're saying is not actually right. But not that like you just dismiss people, because if you dismiss people, then on the long run, when a valid point comes your way, because you are so used to being dismissive of other people and you feel that like you know it all, then you're going to miss it. You will miss it. Okay. I think another point will be humility. As a critical thinker, you have to learn humility. You have to learn to be humble. Who be only use a be pastor. You have to be humble to learn from other people. You have to be humble enough to learn from other people. Another point that I did not put here, I'm just trying to like, based on the research I made, I'm just like adding more points, is you need to learn how to communicate. It is not enough for you to know that this is a problem. How do you communicate it to others that they also can understand or be on the same page as you? You need to be able to communicate the problem or whatever it is that you have observed to other people. Okay? You need to be able to. Because if you need to like get more information from people, then you have to bring them on the same page with you, let them understand where you're coming from, and then they can now tell you, okay, this is why this is like this, or that is why that thing is like that. Okay, communication is very, very key. All right, then. So, on this note, I have come to the end of today's class. It's not something so long. If you have any question, I would wait. I would wait briefly. Okay. If you have any question, I would wait briefly for you to ask your questions. All right. I said earlier that our topic today is critical thinking. Every one of us, if we need to make exploits in our lives, in our private lives, in our academics, in our career, we need to be critical thinkers. I said earlier that as we grow older, a lot of people stop being thinkers. They stop being creative people. They just turn themselves to zombies, especially in the university system in Nigeria. As I mentioned, like it is la crème, la pour, la passe. People do not ask questions. They're like, why is this thing like this? If you try to argue with some lecturers, they'll be like, that is how we met it. I can remember a particular course I did in 200 level thermodynamics. That was 2006 when I did thermodynamics in engineering, right? And the lecturer was using the same textbook that he used while he was in school in 1991 to teach us the same topic. Now, I'm not trying to say that like the formula is wrong or it is outdated, but newer things would have been added. And if we tried asking the like, sir, why is this thing like this? Then it'd be like, go and cram it, just go and know it. But a lot of people would not take out time to answer your question. And it has made a lot of graduates to be zombies, people that they just receive what you give to them without questioning what has been said. Even the Bible said something that like, come, let us reason together. It means that like God wants us to be what? Critical thinkers. Because if you're going to reason with God, imagine like you sitting here as I am seated, and then like God is facing me, and then God is asking me that like, let us reason this matter together. It means that like I'm going to ask God a lot of questions like, God, how far? Why is this thing like this? Why we don't we do this this way? Why can't we do this like this? It is not that like because our pastor said, or our imam said, or our spiritual head said, so therefore we are going to take everything that has been said to us, hook, line, and sinker. No. You have to be a critical thinker that questions every single thing around you and asks, why is this thing what? Why is this thing so? I have another teacher of mine, Mrs. Temitope Kukoyi. She used to be my literature teacher. Okay, I didn't really do literature, but she used to be, was it literature? I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but she used to be a teacher in my secondary school. I said I attended Lagos City College, Yaba. Thank you for joining in, Ma. Okay, so I was saying that like you do not take things hook, line, and sinker. You learn to ask questions, be creative, be curious, observe. Do not just say that like because I was told this thing, so therefore I am going to go by it. Ask, why is this thing like this? If only I wish a lot of African parents would imbibe this critical thinking strategy and allow their children to be critical thinkers, allow their children to ask questions. I have seen a lot of parents because in church, I am a children teacher, right? I work with kids. And I see parents shut their children down when children are trying to ask questions. The more you shut children down, the more you make them like every other person. Then when they grow up, you now start asking them, they're like, why can't you be like your mate? Why would they be like that? Means when you already shut them down, you killed the creativity in them. You made them to be less of a thinker and more of a copy and paste person. I was told this thing, so therefore I have to do it. For whatever reason or for whatever thing you want to teach your child, be sure to explain why. In short, kids these days would always ask why. No matter what you do, like you cannot lie to a child. That's why I love them. That's why I work with them because you just need to be as truthful as you can be because they are always inquisitive. And as adults ourselves, we need to be inquisitive also. Thank you for joining me, Beautiful Feet Gardens. That's Mommy Oka Samuel. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being a part of this. Mommy Oka Samuel is also one of the teachers in the children's department in my church. Thank you, Mom, for being a part of the show. So I was saying that like you need to be what? A critical thinker. Now, the 7 points I gave, or part of the characteristics, there are a lot of characteristics, but part of the seven characteristics of being a critical thinker is one, observation, two, curiosity, ask questions, three, objectivity, do not put emotions into it. Get your facts right. Use facts and not what? Emotions. Introspection, I said, think about what you're thinking about. Okay? You're thinking about what you're thinking about. So if what you're thinking about is irrelevant, stop thinking about it. Analytical and creative thinking. After you've gotten all the information, you break it down into little pieces and then look at newer ways in which you can do things or like newer angles, or you think outside the box to make whatever it is that you're doing better. Inference, you draw conclusion based on everything you have, all the observations you have made, all the analysis, all the data that you have, you draw out conclusion. I said that like there's a difference between inference and what? Assumption. I'm sorry. There's a difference between inference and assumption. A lot of people assume a lot without trying to find out facts. And lastly, problem solving. After you found out all the information, after you've drawn out your conclusion, find solution to it. And on this note, oh yes, you were, I'm sorry, I need to put this on my screen. So Mrs. Timtoka Kukwai was my economics teacher. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was her student. We used to write drama and write scripts for drama in those good old days. Anyway, it's been years I wrote any scripts. All right, so we have come to the end of today's class. Today, this is the fifth episode of my 100-episode series for this year. I hope you have been able to learn something. I hope you have been able to add to yourself, and I hope that like each and every one of us, we are going to become critical thinkers and become better. We will think critically, not worry. We are not talking about worry. It is not worrying. We are thinking critically to enhance every part of our lives. Okay. So thank you for being a part of today's show. Thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate each and every one of you all for being a part of today's show. On Saturday, which will be our next episode, I'll be bringing up a guest and he would be talking about emotional intelligence in the business area. All right. I've forgotten the topic, but I know it's emotional intelligence. So a lot of us, we need to have emotional intelligence. A lot of us just react to every single thing, and we need to know how to develop what? Emotional intelligence. I hope you all will be a part of the show. Please do well to tell more people about this channel. You can leave a like button, you can share with other people, and that's if it has been a blessing to you. If it has not been a blessing to you, no wahala, no problem. But if you feel that like you have gained something from the series that like I started earlier this year, then do well to invite other people to be a part of the show. It would really mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to them also because they would also be gaining something out of it. Thank you all for being a part. Thank you all for being a part of this show. And on this note, I have to say bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your week and see you on Saturday.